Hello, hello, Vision family. Welcome to Youth Encouragement Night. And I felt it appropriate to ask some teenagers representing Gen Z to come join me today. Today is going to be less of a preaching word and more of just like a conversation. And so this is my girl Phelps, so I can see who is chiming in and all that good stuff. So I see Rebecca. Hello, hello.
Hi.
Oops, it's loud though. Let me turn that down. I see Marissa. Hello. I see Cheryl,
everybody.
which means Madison and Jaden. I miss you guys. Miss you. So hello. See all of you guys. And invite some more people to chime in. But to get started, I wanted to ask Faith first. Faith, what is something that you feel like as a teenager, Gen Z, that you are going through that's kind of related to this time with COVID-19 and just like all the things that are going on? What are some things you're going through?
I feel like I've been dealing with a lot of fear. I'm always scared of things that are in the unknown. And I feel like my fear really does come from like the root of uncertainty. And in these times, there's like, we don't know what's next. And I feel like that's very worrying for me personally. I feel like a lot of teenagers can relate to this. Like, what's going to happen this next school year? How are things going to be changed? Like, what is it going to look like for us? And I feel like we're worrying about what are our grades going to look like? What is our like sports seasons going to look like? Do we get to still have those, or are those taken away for a little while? When are we going to be able to go back to seeing our friends again? There's just a lot of fear, and I know that personally I deal with that a lot. And so some ways I wanted to give advice to you guys about how to deal with that is personally just get in your word a lot.
Yes.
I personally like to pray some Bible verses over myself to give me peace. And the ones I like a lot is from Deuteronomy 31:15. It says, "It is he who goes before you. He will be with you, and he will not leave you or forsake you. Do not fear or be dismayed." And I feel like this is very powerful in this time of the he will go before you part. God has been in this spot, and he is before us, and he is protecting us. And I feel like that's important to know in this time, is that he is our guardian, and he's going to keep us safe.
Come on, somebody preaching it. Okay, I want to ask you something very specific, both of you guys. Okay, so you were talking about fear and uncertainty, and it sounded like you're kind of talking a little bit about like some missed opportunities and stuff. So if you had to name one thing, and I want to hear from you guys too, put it in the comments, one thing that you kind of missed the most, that you feel like you lost out on, with the whole uncertainty, with school being canceled to the, end of the year. What was one thing that you were looking forward to that you didn't get to do?
I feel like me personally was my junior prom. I had my prom dress. I was so excited to go. I was planning it out with my friends, and then it didn't happen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what about you, Jubilee?
Like just normally like school and like graduating normally the year. So yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because, getting ready to go in and get those certificates and all your achievements and all that good stuff. So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So what about you guys? What are some things, let me look again in the comments, what's some things that maybe, I'm not seeing it, but some things if you want to put on there that maybe that you are experiencing that you're like, man, I really missed out on prom. I know we have at least one senior that's in our youth group that they're going to miss out on walking across that stage and just, so it's not just fear, it's missed opportunities. And, that's for sure. That's rough,
Yeah.
And so what's some things you think that can help you with that, like that missed opportunities, feeling like, I missed out on this, but how can you kind of just like make the most of it, I guess?
Well, obviously getting into your word.
Yeah.
And have this opportunity to read your Bible more and to like have family time, because you're not going to see your friends, but you are going to see your family.
Yeah.
So
you're like not sick of your family at all?
I mean, a little bit.
Yeah, but that it does help. It does help to,
Yeah.
reach out to people, to talk to people. I saw something that you did, Faith, that I thought was really cool, is that you actually took a picture of your prom dress. Even though you missed your prom, you took a picture of that prom dress, and you was posing on Instagram.
Yeah,
I'm
I see a lot of people do that. Also, you could do like a little project to paint my room. You know?
I think she just totally dropped a hint right here live on Facebook. So
That's how you gotta work it.
It's like you normally do. Go about your day how you normally would. Like, keep that same routine. Even though we're out of school, wake up early like it feels like school. Make your life
still
seem as normal
haven't
as
done-
possible. I feel like trying,
Yes.
like a lot of kids are working now, so like taking that opportunity as like a living in the moment situation. Don't like dwell on what the future's gonna look like. Don't dwell on what the past is gonna look like, but try to live in the moment. Live in the
Right.
moment. Try new things at home. Like, I started a puzzle. Like,
Yeah.
you're bored when you're a Gen Z
Doing a
starting a puzzle.
Yeah.
like read a new book. Just
Right.
try some new things.
Watch a new Netflix series.
A new
Yes.
Netflix series.
Watch All American.
Oh, there you go. We got some recommendations here and all that good stuff. So, okay. I want to ask another question to my daughter, Jubilee.
Yeah.
So, Faith talked about like fear and just missed opportunities. What is something that you feel like maybe that you have dealt with in this time of COVID-19, some emotions, some things that's
Yeah.
been coming up in you? So, share with me.
So I've recently dealt with loneliness because we don't have like the normal school days anymore. So you don't get to see your friends as much. So yeah, and just like being like stuck at home, it just gets you under the weather. Not going outside as much, not going to like stores and stuff that will like
No retail therapy?
No shopping online today.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good. So loneliness, let's speak into that for a minute. Faith, is there something that maybe you can, as an older teenager, could speak into Jubilee as a younger teenager of dealing with loneliness?
I feel like for sure is now the time to get connected with people you trust. Like, in loneliness, it's hard, but I feel like this is such a good time to live in with the fact that we have cell phones. We have ways to be connected
Yeah.
with others. I feel like we need to learn how to take advantage of that. Like, just like kind of, it's okay to be alone sometimes. Like, take this time to like recharge yourself, like build up your own your own life, like your mental health. Kind of take this time to build up. But you also want to check in on your friends, and you also
make
want
sure you hear her.
to check in on your friends. So like, if I know Jubilee's feeling down, take this time to like, hey, like what's going on? Talk to me. Like, be a mentor for those who are struggling.
The younger people. So
Yes.
give them a call, FaceTime them. I know
Yes.
a lot of young people. Although I do have to ask this question. As a parent, you may say I'm out of touch, but I got to ask this. I've noticed with some of my own kids, Shua, I've seen them FaceTime people, but yet like they're out of the screen. So that's
on pause.
no, like out of the screen.
they just let their phones sit there.
Yeah. So that's
Okay,
so like me, I've been FaceTiming my mom because I want to see her. So I will look rough, I'll look crazy, but I will still FaceTime my mom to see her, and she can see all natural. I sometimes call her when I'm walking my dog. But I've noticed like some of the Gen Z, they'll FaceTime, but so what's the point of FaceTiming if you can't see each other? Okay, this is an old person question. Help me out.
Okay, honestly, for me personally, I feel like comfortable with them being off the screen and just enjoying each other's company. Sometimes, like when you need a friend there, you don't always need to talk to them. Sometimes it's just there to have that support system.
Well, then
Like,
why don't you just use a speakerphone? Why do you FaceTime?
Because like
Someone help me with this.
Oh, yeah, like you could just be like, or you could be like, hey, yo, look at my dog right now.
Oh, I get
So
it.
it's like
Okay.
it's like you can have those little moments of like
those
fun.
moments, but it's
Those-
not like 24/7. It's just like here's a
I
moment.
do
Yeah.
on pause sometimes, usually because I'm like playing a game while I'm talking to them.
Oh.
Normally I just be falling asleep. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. The mystery is being solved here. Every parent, you can thank me later. The mystery is being solved. But seriously, let's get back to like topic here. So we're talking about loneliness, so we can FaceTime and we can
Yeah.
use different apps that's available to help
Or
with that,
even
encourage one another,
Getting more connected with your family.
more connected with your family.
Yes. I know, like, there's some families really go through it sometimes, reconnect those bonds, like fix those past mistakes, get closer with one another. Like, I even encourage you guys to like take your family and do like electronic free day.
Oh, boy.
Just for you and the family, you know, like cook dinner together, play some board games. Do not play Catan. Do not play.
You made some good grilled cheese today.
Don't play Catan
Oh,
though.
well, yeah. I'm still grounded from Catan, but it's okay. So
You could also have a family movie night.
Oh,
family
yes.
Watching movies with my
Yeah.
parents.
You know?
yes, with her dad
Talk
especially.
to them about those movies. I love the conversations, especially when you have differing opinions. I feel like that's a good way to get to know the way a person is and the way they think is by hearing their differing
Or
opinions.
doing a family game night. You could play like Monopoly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're not allowed to play Catan. But all right, cool. So loneliness is something that we've been dealing with. Fear. Let's talk again. Let's get real here for a minute. What's some other things that teenagers, that Gen Z is specifically feeling with being at home, being out of school? What are some things that they're feeling right now?
I feel like another thing that a lot of teenagers can also relate to is feeling overwhelmed with this online school. This transition is rough. Like, teachers are like, oh, we know you're going through a hard time, but here, let me give you some 3 essays, 4 paragraph assignments. I'm going to need you to do a project due in 2 days. Thank you. Excuse me, miss? I don't have time for that.
Oh, I don't have time for that. I have a puzzle to complete.
Yes. This is 750 pieces.
Coming for you for like missed assignments. Like I didn't know it was missing in the first place.
Yes.
But like even you yelling at me every constantly second for missing something.
Oh, yeah.
I just got put on the bus.
Yeah,
See.
putting everybody under the bus.
She calls it yelling. I call it motivation. So it's perspective, guys. Perspective, okay? But I could totally relate. Even as a parent trying to help kids through homeschooling, it's been a lot. So there's a phrase that we used to say a lot. Pastor Dawn always said that. We would say that do your best, give God the rest, right? And so that's something for homeschooling. We got to do our best and give God the rest. And I'm hoping that everybody learns to have grace for themselves during this time. So you may not get everything perfectly done for homeschooling. Maybe you've messed up an assignment or you're a day late.
Yeah.
Hopefully teachers are giving grace, and hopefully we're giving ourselves grace. And if it's not perfect, hopefully parents, I have to give grace because I don't care if it's perfect. I just want it done when it's supposed to be done, And so
Be kind. Be kind to others. Help others out in this time. And most importantly, be kind to yourself. You can,
Amen.
with this isolation, you are stuck with yourself a lot. Don't beat yourself up over the little things, on mistakes on an assignment. I remember doing an assignment a little bit late, and I turned it in, and I even wrote her an apology at the end. I was like, I did not know what you were asking. I tried my best, but I completely took the blame for it. I could have asked her and had time to email her. I just didn't have the time, and I'm not going to stress over that. I have to be kind to myself in that moment. I just need to learn, okay, maybe I need to be more aware how to manage my time.
Right. Yeah, because I would guess. What about you, Jubilee? Like managing your time. Speak into that.
With overwhelmed, I had something with overwhelmed.
Okay, let's hear the overwhelmed.
Yeah.
She wants to get overwhelmed a little bit more. Let's hear
Yeah,
it.
I was
As long as it
think- I was
doesn't
just
go into
thinking-
throwing your mom underneath the
No, it
bus. Okay.
I was just. That's just called a project.
All right, come on, Jubilee. Talk to us.
Okay, but if you're older and watch a lot of the news and getting overwhelmed with all the things with COVID-19 spreading so fast and stuff, just to pray about it if you're just constantly overwhelmed about that, because I know people who've been overwhelmed by that.
For sure.
For sure.
I mean, the Bible even says that instead of worrying, right, instead of being anxious, to pray. And I think that's a way
trust in God.
Yeah, and trust in God. That's a way to combat, anxiety and feeling overwhelmed, is to really pray through. We're a spirit-filled church here. We believe in speaking in tongues, and that's a prayer language. And teenagers, I would just encourage you. You're at home right now. Just ask the Lord. Pastor Josh, when he got baptized in the Holy Spirit, he was at home in his bedroom. I think he was a teenager when it happened. And so I want to encourage you, just ask the Lord. I mean, Jubilee was 7 years old, right, when it happened?
Yeah. Also, even though we're talking about to pray about it, still wash your hands, because gotta wash your hands.
Pray about it and wash your hands. All right.
Going back to the prayer about how Pastor Josh was at home and stuff, it strikes the Bible verse in my head of like the pray in your closet part.
Oh, come on.
Your faith does not have to be public. Your relationship with God does not have to be public. I feel like for me personally, the way I get a healthiest relationship with God is when I'm with him one-on-one. It's just me and him. It's those raw moments where it's like, you don't have to worry about others. You don't have to worry about the insecurities. You don't have to worry about I'm up here worshiping and jumping around. I don't have to worry about that when I'm by myself. It's those raw moments where I feel closest.
Right. I think if I understand what you're saying, right, it's personal. It's a personal relationship, right? Like of course there's going to be times I cannot wait until we all get to come back together.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited.
For youth church. I cannot wait until we can all come back. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the time that we're not just preaching to an empty sanctuary, that there's people there that are amening and getting into it. And I can't wait for the corporate worship again, right? Yeah. I'm looking forward to those things. But we need to make sure, like you said, that our personal relationship with the Lord is what it's all about, because sometimes we grow dependent on other people to lead us.
My relationship with God does not depend on Pastor Joy making sure I'm in my word every day. Jubilee's relationship with God does not depend on her parents. It's like ours is personal. Your relationship with God is between you and him. It's not between us three and him.
Right, come on. So that's so good. You want to say something to that, Jibs?
Yeah, like you're not going to go to heaven for your parents or your friends. You're going to go for yourself. It's your own personal relationship with God. So take that in right now when we're alone and just pray and get closer to him.
What are some ways that you guys find that helps you kind of pray? So, speak into that. Like, what are some ways, if you want to hit? She's like, I want to say something.
No, I want to go first. If not, okay, so recently I started journaling. I made up excuses for journaling for so long. Ever since I was in like 5th grade, I was like, it's not for me. Journaling is not for me. Like, I just can't do it. And I finally started journaling, and it's so good because like sometimes I feel like I struggle to like say what I want to say to God, like kind of like pour out what I need to pour out. So sometimes I'll just like sit there, I'll like have my Bible, some worship music, I'll have my journal open and a pen, and I'll just sit there until I feel like I need to say what needs to be said. And next thing you know, I'm just filling up a page, and I'm like spelling out this problem. I'm like, God, I'm having trouble with this. And it's like he like leads my hand, and somehow I'm figuring out how to fix that.
Oh man, that's so good. I love to journal. You guys know that. So
yeah, also like that's to do a prayer journal. I don't know if that count with a prayer journal.
Yeah, for sure.
So to do a prayer journal and to pray and worship, even in your own room. Like I remember so many like stories that like I remember in kids' church, they're like saying to like you could worship in your bedroom. Like you could turn on some music on Pandora or Spotify and just worship your heart out.
Yep, right in your bedroom.
I feel like, and if you're still struggling with loneliness, and you still want to kind of get in your word more, do it with a friend. Like, not even, like, maybe just even finding, like, on the Bible app, they have plans you can do with friends.
Yes.
And so it's still keeping you independent by, it's like what you say and what you're getting from God. But then again, you're also able to hear from what your friends, like you can compare ideas, can compare what you guys are hearing, or maybe you are hearing something, but maybe it is for them. So like taking it to them and being like, here, I think God is speaking this over you right now. Like kind of just like making your relationship with God, but also like helping with others.
So making sure that you have a personal relationship with God, but then from that personal relationship with God, encouraging other people too, and reaching other people too. That's so good. Speaking of that, one thing that we're going to be doing around 7:30, I believe, is we're going to try something different, and this is going to be for any teenager that's a part of our church, or anyone. Hey, if you're a teenager, you're out there, you're lonely, you want to be a part of it, reach out to our messenger app on Facebook. We're going to do a group messenger app thing.
FaceTime.
Yes, there you go. So, I don't know what I'm talking about, but Becca and Lindsay Tanzel are organizing this, and so it's going to be a time that we could just come together tonight and just kind of like share like one-on-one, with each other. So not really one-on-one, but like how many of it, like a small group.
Connecting with each other again.
Yeah. And like if you have anything to tell them, like if you spill some tea, yeah. And with the loneliness and the journal thing, I know I'm bringing like all the way back, But like document your feelings, because I know my mom and my dad said they have like journals and stuff, and they were like talking about how they were like laughing at some of their stuff. Like to document your feelings for like when this all passed, you could just be like, oh my goodness, why did I think that?
It makes you stronger. Like I look
Makes you
back
stronger.
at my journal when Josh and I first got married. I think that's what you're talking about. And I laugh. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I might be a little extra now, but I was extra then, you know? And I'm like, wow, I was so upset over some stupid stuff. So yes, it's interesting to do that. So we're getting to the point that we're getting ready to close up, but there is a comment. So I want to, okay, let's hear it. Okay. How do you guys want to speak into that? A teenager who is struggling with their faith. Faith, what do you think about that?
Okay, so I've definitely been there. I was born and raised in the church for so long, and I went through a huge